Ethan! Big dog, what's up? How we doing?
Aaron, I am doing well, man. It's good to see ya.
Dude, great to see you. Merry Christmas Eve, man. What are you up to?
Well, let's see here. We got some Christmas shopping we got to finish. Got a couple presents left to get. Probably eat some Christmas cookies and, wait, weren't we supposed to... We were supposed to host tonight, Christmas Eve service, weren't we?
Dude, I think we were. I gotta do my hair.
I gotta go get dressed.
Merry Christmas! So good to see you all. My name's Aaron.
And I'm Ethan.
So glad you joined us this Christmas Eve to celebrate the birth of Jesus.
So grab a blanket, grab some hot chocolate, and we are gonna start by singing together.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. Heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven, heaven, nature sing. We will sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world. We will sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs employ, while fields and floods, rocks, hills and plains, repeat the sound and joy, repeat the sound and joy, repeat, repeat the sound and joy. We will sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world. We will sing, sing, sing. He rules the world with truth and grace, and makes the nations prove the glories of his righteousness, wonders of his love, and wonders of his love, and wonders, wonders of his love. We will sing, sing, sing. Joy to the world. We will sing, sing, sing. A merry little Christmas. Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Make the Yuletide gay. From now on, our troubles will be miles away. Here we are as in olden days, happy golden days of yore. Faithful friends who are dear to us, gather near to us once through the years, we all will meet together. If the fates allow, hang a shining star upon the highest bough, and have yourself a merry little Christmas now.
Well, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Merry Christmas. I'm so glad that you decided to join us on this online Christmas Eve experience. I hope this is a real shot in the arm for you this Christmas. I absolutely love Christmas. I love almost everything about Christmas, right? I love the Christmas decorations. I love Christmas music. I love the little drummer boy, right? I love Christmas cookies. How about you? You love Christmas cookies? I love sugar cookies, right? Love Christmas movies. My mom, in particular, I think of my mom this time of year, she loved a Hallmark movie. In a Hallmark movie, it would have just automatically snowed at just the right time, right? Hallmark movies, it just always seems to turn out. You can almost watch a Hallmark movie and know how it's going to end, right? I think to myself, sometimes when we think about the first Christmas, we think about it like a Hallmark movie. And we look at the characters in that first Christmas and we think they were polished and practiced and everybody was refined. And it can cause us to maybe begin to think, and maybe you think this, that Christmas is for the polished and the refined and for people who have life figured out. The truth is that the music that we love this time of year can even cause us to have the same sentiment. One of my favorite Christmas carols is "O Come All Ye Faithful." Have you ever heard about "O Come All Ye Faithful, joyful and triumphant, O come ye to Bethlehem"? It kind of causes you to think that maybe Christmas is for the faithful. Maybe it's for the triumphant. Maybe it's for the whole. Maybe Christmas is for people who are healthy, the have it all together kind of people. It causes you to wonder, what about the unfaithful? What about the defeated? What about the broken? What about the messy, the bitter, the unhealthy, the don't have it all together kind of people? What about them? Truth is, I feel that way much more than I feel triumphant and faithful many days of my life. My guess is you do too. That's what I love about Christmas. I love about Christmas that Jesus came and he knew the mess we were in. He knew we were broken. He knew we were unhealthy. He knew we needed help. And that's why he came. And the invitation isn't simply for the faithful and the triumphant, but actually the invitation of Christmas is for the unfaithful, the defeated, the bitter, the broken, the unhealthy, the don't have it all together kind of people. What if Jesus is the reason for the season? But what if there's much more to it than that? What if actually we're the reason that Jesus came that first Christmas season? And what if he came so that he might extend an invitation to all of us who are unfaithful, broken, defeated, need help, don't have it all together kind of people?
Oh, come, all you unfaithful, come, weak and unstable, come, no, you are not alone. Oh, come, barren and waiting ones, weary of praying, come, see what your God has done. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you. Oh, come, bitter and broken, come, with fears unspoken, come, taste of his perfect love. Oh, come, guilty and hiding ones, there is no need to run, see what your God has done. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you. He's the Lamb who was given, slain for our pardon. His promise is peace for those who believe. He's the Lamb who was given, slain for our pardon. His promise is peace for those who believe. So come, though you have nothing, come, he is the offering, come, see what your God has done. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you. Christ is born, Christ is born, Christ is born for you.
It's been fun these last 2 weeks at the Norton campus here at Grace Church to have the opportunity to go Christmas caroling. We literally gone to different homes and sang some old Christmas carols. I used to do that when I was a kid. And some of those old songs just kind of tell you Christmas season's here, right? I mean, they just kind of ring in the Christmas season. Sometimes those old familiar carols, they can almost serve as an escape for us, right? We can almost listen to them like we would watch a Disney movie, right? They almost are things that kind of talk about things like hope and joy and peace and love. And sometimes we listen to them as Christmas carols because they give a certain emotion to us, and we listen to them as though those things are absent from the harsh realities of life that many of us experience, particularly this year, 2020, right? Many times we can assume these songs were written in a vacuum, like that they were written void of any personal disappointment, or that they were written in some sort of vacuum where there was no cultural discouragement. Such is the case with an old familiar Christmas carol entitled "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day." It's familiar to a lot of people. Maybe you've heard it. It kind of starts this way: I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play. And wild and sweet the words repeat, of peace on earth, goodwill towards men. One of the verses that follow says, till ringing, singing on its way, the world revolve from night to day. A voice, a chime, a chant sublime, of peace on earth, goodwill towards men. It's a familiar chorus, it's a familiar song, it makes you think of Christmas. What many people don't know, though, is that the one who wrote that, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, when he wrote that, when he penned those words, he was on a journey. And it was a journey that, quite frankly, took him through his own personal disappointment. It was a journey that was in the middle of a lot of cultural division and discouragement. And quite frankly, it was a time in his life when God seemed unusually quiet. You see, it was in the summer of 1861 when Henry's wife was trimming their daughter's hair, and as their daughter's curls fell to the ground, his wife picked up one of the curls and wanted to preserve them in some candle wax. As she was melting the wax, a breeze blew in from the window, and literally the flame from that candle caught her dress on fire. In a matter of seconds, Henry's wife was engulfed totally in flames. In an effort to protect her daughter, she ran from that room into the adjoining study where Henry was doing his work. You can imagine Henry looked up and he saw his wife totally engulfed in flames. In desperation, he quickly ran to her and grabbed a small rug to try to put out the fire, to no avail. Eventually, he did the only thing he knew to do. He just wrapped his arms around her, trying to put out the flames. The next day, Henry's wife died. Henry's injuries were so severe that he couldn't even go to the funeral. Later that year, as Christmas approached, Henry wrote in his journal, he wrote, "How inexpressibly sad are all the holidays." It was the following Christmas in his journal, he wrote this. He wrote, "Merry Christmas, say the children." But then he wrote, "But that is no more for me." It was the very next Christmas that his journal was totally blank. It was the Christmas of 1864 where Henry began to write the poem that now has turned into the traditional Christmas carol, "I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day." The first few stanzas sound very much like a traditional Christmas carol. The truth is, Henry's in a dark place. Personal disappointment, and even as he looked around him, tragedy had kind of engulfed the country. The Civil War had taken an awful toll on a very, very divided and polarized country. And it was with that in sight that he wrote the next several verses. Not many people know them. They're not traditionally sung at Christmas time. To be honest with you, they're dark. The mood doesn't seem to fit the holiday. But as he wrote these words through his own personal disappointment, through his own discouragement as he looked around him in a time when God seemed unusually quiet. The words go something like this: "Then from each black and cursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill toward men. It was as if an earthquake rent the heartstone of a continent, and left forlorn the households born of peace on earth, goodwill toward men." And then he wrote this: "For hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men." You can almost hear the rawness of his own personal discouragement and disappointment. It was as though at that point Henry had one more stanza in him. It was almost like after writing that hope awakened inside of Henry. Not the kind of hope that everything's gonna turn out like a Hallmark movie and be better. It wasn't the hope that said all of the personal difficulties would all of a sudden evaporate. But it was a hope in light of the difficulty. It was a hope that was present even in the middle of the discouragement. And it was in the middle of that hope that Henry wrote the final stanza that says this: "Then pealed the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill toward men." It was as though, almost in rebellion, he declared a hope that wasn't the absence of difficulty, wasn't the absence of discouragement, but it was the presence of a person. And the bells sound loud and clear this Christmas the same as they did then. That the presence of that person is the presence of the person of Jesus. The story of Christmas is Jesus as Emmanuel, God with us. And the hope of Christmas, in the middle of discouragement, in the middle of disappointment, in the middle of difficulty, is found in a person. God showed up in Jesus. He didn't just show up, but the God who showed up gave up his life. Why? Because when he gave up his life, he died for all of the wrong things in us and around us. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail. Why? Because the God who died in our place is not dead, and he is not asleep. You see, there's hope this Christmas. There's hope. And the bells of Christmas sound loud and deep. God is not dead, nor doth he sleep.
Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the song repeats of peace on earth, goodwill to men. For hate is strong, and it mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then ring the bells more loud and deep. God is not dead, nor does he sleep. This dark shall fail, and Christ prevail. With peace on earth, goodwill to men.
So we get to the end of an unusual year, and it probably even has been a unique Christmas celebration. And a lot of times when we gather for Christmas Eve, we end with the song Silent Night. It's kind of a beautiful experience in the auditorium, and we all light candles. And I'd encourage you, as you're watching this, wherever you're at, whoever you're with, if you have a candle nearby or a flashlight, or get your phone, it might be good to do. It just gives us a reminder that, you know, I really do believe the light shines the brightest against the darkness. And the fact of the matter is, in 2020, when there's been a lot of things that have happened and disappointment that have kind of been part of people's journey, that there's hope because the light of the world, Jesus, came that first Christmas. So as we celebrate this Christmas, it becomes an opportunity for us to say, on that silent night, on that first Christmas, hope came. Hope came in the person of Jesus, the light of the world.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, brown young virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar, heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Son of God, the
Christmas, guys. So glad you guys joined us in celebrating the birth of Jesus. Hope you guys had a great time. We do this every weekend, so join us on the weekend experience. We would love to see you all there.
And we know that this can be a challenging season for a lot of people, and so we would love to stay connected with you. You can reach out to us by emailing the church or calling the offices, whatever the case. Just make sure you're staying connected with us.
Merry Christmas, guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful day celebrating, having some fun, and hope you guys have a great New Year.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.